Let's go find some fish, kiddo. Yeah. What do you want to try to catch today?
Walleye.
Walleye?
Yeah.
There's no walleye here. How about we go for some bluegill?
Okay.
All right. Got him. You got him. There you go. There you go. What do you think about that? Just a little guy to start the day. Hey, good morning, folks. I'm Dennis Leppell with MidWest Outdoors, and this is my daughter, Paige. We got the day off of school today.
Because of conferences.
Because of parent-teacher conferences. Nice little bluegill. What do you think about that little guy?
Hello.
Hello. So this bodes well for the day. We're just gonna come out here and pop around, see what we can catch, and have a little fun, huh? So what we're using today, folks, it's China bait. It comes in a 1" by 3" roll that you can cut into any size that you need based off the species you're fishing for. Now the stuff is really tough and it sits right on the hook there. It doesn't pull off. So I'm tugging on this thing pretty good. You know, once you get it hooked on there, it hangs on, and once it's in the water is gonna soak into it and swell up. It's gonna look like a big booger, but I'm telling you, the panfish, they just go nuts for it. Look at how deep it took that little check-eye jig. It really wanted that, huh? There you got him. All right, so Paige is taking a little bit of a break right now. You know, that's another really good thing to remember when you got the kids out fishing is don't overwork them. If they want to take a break, let them take a break. You know, bring coloring books. So while she's off collecting rocks and trying to figure out how to skip them into the water, we're just going to pop a couple more fish. And I'm going to use her rod here. Now, the rod that she's got, it's her rod. You know, and when kids can take ownership of their own gear, it makes it that much more exciting. Now, what she's using today is an Ugly Stick GX2. This actually happens to be a Lady Series GX2, which is just a smaller handle you know, to fit women's hands a little bit better, but it also works well for children. Actually, if you look at this and the child's GX2, they're virtually identical. It's about 5.5 feet long, you know, very flexible tip, you know, so this thing can handle anything from your littlest bluegill to the occasional pond carp or catfish that you might get. And you don't have to have any worries about the rod not being enough or being too much for whatever your species you're going to go after. Now let me tell you about the greatest part of starting kids off with an Ugly Stick. Now the very first time Paige went fishing with me, she was 1.5 years old. Pretty soon she was crawling into my lap, taking the rod out of my hands, banging the tip, you know, right into the rocks here. You know, I just cringed watching her bang my $100 rods into the rocks. Well, with an Ugly Stick, you don't have to worry about this. You know, the Hallow construction, the one-piece stamp guides that they use, you know, these rods are virtually indestructible, and it's perfect for a kid who's not always going to have the best rod awareness, you know, where they're putting the rod, where they're banging the tips into. You know, it's just, it'll grow with them and all the mishaps that they might have. There, we got one. These negative fish, and even on that float with this sensitive rod, I was still able to feel that thunk as it pulled it down.
If you think you got a fish, you always want to pop it to make sure you didn't lose it before you reel it in. You want to keep the line, most of the line off the water, so there's not too much line on the water like this, but you want it just about like this.
Now, since kids just absolutely want to cast on their own, you know, allow them to have the time to practice away from the water. Now, what I've done is she has a couple casting plugs, or you can use like an egg sinker. You tie that onto the end of the line, throw a hula hoop out in the middle of the yard and let them cast from various distances into the hula hoop on their own time as much as they want. And that'll really allow them to develop their casting technique and instincts at their own pace. Now folks, we just took an hour out of our day to come and film this, and I recommend you take an hour out of your day to take a kid fishing. Now if you want to find out more about the most versatile rod that you can put on your rod rack, go to shakespeare-fishing.com and check out the entire lineup of the Ugly Stick GX2s. Hey, for my daughter Paige, I'm Dennis Leppell. MidWest Outdoors will be right back. Hey, you want to go get an ice cream?
Yeah.
All right, let's go get an ice cream.
Okay.
Good job today.
Thank you.
Had fun?
So did I.